All this time we've been muted. Okay, so all this time we've been sitting here quietly. That's why we need somebody to run this equipment, because it's hard for me to do the show, be the person.
And we're it,
first
just you
on.
and me tonight. That's it.
So what you just saw were parts of our Debbie in Korea slideshow. My mother entertained the troops a couple of times as part of Operation Entertainment. This is Memorial Day weekend, and so we were going to do a different show, and we'll talk about that. We'll promote it for next week. But so we just quickly tap danced into doing something for Memorial Day, which was sort of what I thought would be fun, to travel back in time and look at what my mother did in Korea and how important all of that was to her.
Yep.
As an American and a patriot. She loved to support our troops and our veterans, and all that slideshow that you just saw was her entertaining in the battlefield. In very remote locations, they would set up impromptu stages, and they would put on shows, even under fire. They would put on these shows for the troops. Some of them were in barns. And
I always wondered that. Like, what did it ever happen? I wonder where, the USO tour was happening and there was a show going on and fire started, or
sure.
bombing, or
Bob
what?
Hope could give you, I'm sure, 100 stories.
Because there
as
was
well.
one picture there that was a sea of faces.
More than one, many.
But that one particular shot was nothing but thousands and thousands of faces. And so you wonder, everyone's kind of vulnerable all packed in like that for a show.
For sure. Here, you want to bring it up?
But including the performers. Yes, that picture right there is mind-blowing to me. Just incredible. I wonder who took this. Look at this picture.
Now, those are all servicemen, too, keep in mind. These are not just, this is not some random visual effect created by Hollywood. That's the real deal. These guys are really there fighting in the Korean War, and many of them became casualties and other things. And my mother would talk to them in the MASH units, the injured soldiers. And she was there with Keenan Wynn and Carlton Carpenter. And Ed Backus, you saw,
Yes.
there's a lot of, if you look through those, if you replay this, you'll see there's a lot of very interesting people popping up as part of that. Now, some of the things that happened, Kat mentioned how dangerous was it. You saw that little transport plane. That's actually how they moved them all around, either in the C-130s or even in more primitive aircraft. I think I have a picture here. Let me go to the two shot for a second.
I don't know if were they on that? Were you on Apple TV with that?
Well, I have pictures of, what do you mean was that on Apple TV?
Because I don't know that picture was up.
Everything was on.
Okay.
There's not anything that you saw that they didn't see. So you were moved around in a transport like this. This is one transport. That's the Marine Corps, obviously moving them around.
Yes.
But that was like civilized compared to some of these aircraft, because here's the other way that you get moved around. And so this one is kind of interesting because that is a transport plane. It actually holds a lot of people. You can see she just stepped out of that plane. It doesn't look like much. Well, it's so much not much that they actually got shot down in that aircraft. And the military came in, and the 7th Infantry Division, who rescued her, gave her this bayonet.
Oh, wow.
And I'll go to the close-up camera, and you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but on that plaque it says, "To Debbie Reynolds from the 7th Infantry Division." And they literally sent an entire division in to rescue the entertainers, because you can imagine the bad publicity of losing entertainers, getting them captured or whatever would not be a good thing. And so they came in and they gave her that. And then some of the other things that she got, all those pictures that you just saw were mostly out of this album. So a lot of these photos are 8x10 pictures that were scanned in from this album. You can see that, and that was what we were just showing you in the slideshow. But that's where a lot of those came from. And then in addition to that, these are things that came in sort of over the years after doing all of this. You had things like this. See, that's a plaque from the USO.
I don't see it from the camera.
Yeah, well, there's a 10 delay, right? Do you see it?
Not yet. There it is.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the USO. And then there was this is kind of fun because later on after she came back, you get a certain amount of recognition for going around and putting yourself at risk. So they made her an honorary colonel of the American Legion in Hollywood.
Aw.
So that's her. And that is partly this tour and this certificate here, amongst some other things, is why she got a color guard at her service, because she was part of Operation Entertainment. So here is this is a bronze medal that is given to her by Operation Entertainment. You can see it says Operation Entertainment on the back there.
Aw. That having that color guard at the memorial was, it did me in. Did you? Did you? I cried so hard. Did you?
Well,
you just? It
tough.
was.
It's all
Oh
tough.
man.
So there's a shot like what we were just showing you from her collection, but she had like these medals. So these are different military medals. That's one from the USO and another from the government, and then. This was her little show on that impromptu stage that you just saw. You saw the close-ups of it, but this was actually a print we had of it. And then this is a big plaque from the Department of Defense and the medals for her for being part of Operation Entertainment. So anyway, let me get off of that.
Well, that is really great. Because,
Well, I do have one more thing.
but I hope you have more than one thing. This is
No, I mean,
for me. This is the first time I've seen a lot of this, so this is really great.
Well,
I
like-
can't believe, if you don't mind me saying, like all these things, not only just all the pictures and the books, the bayonet, the costumes, as many times as your family moved around. And it's amazing to me that these things were able to be kept.
Well, they were obviously, a lot of it was.
I
in
mean,
my
she used to
charge.
always say that if it weren't for you, all this would have been thrown to the wind, because you really
Well, you
did.
always wonder who's going to look at it after you, so to speak. And my mother was no exception to that. She
Yes, no,
This
absolutely.
was from the United States Air Force way later on. I mean, every branch of government honored her, for her service and going. Now, I mean, obviously her service is different than getting your ass shot off, but she did her bit, as they say. Of course, in these days, they didn't allow gals to go into the service into harm's way. That is, they actually all through World War II flew transport planes. Like the girl pilots were actually shuttling bombers from the United States and Canada into Europe, delivering, but they wouldn't let them actually fly missions, bombing missions and such. Which brings us kind of to an interesting topic, because we were watching TV, like you all are, and you're seeing what's going on in the news. And the topic, of course, is this tragedy that happened in Texas, and this young 18-year-old boy that killed all of these young children and the teachers, and how horrible all it is. And the conversation, and I don't want to get into it's a complex issue, but there was a lot of talk. We're like, well, why does this 18-year-old boy have a gun? Why? And so that's a great question to ask. Obviously, he shouldn't have had a gun. But why do any 18-year-olds have a gun is also being asked. And the answer is that sea of faces you just saw, those are all 18-year-olds. The wars of this country have been fought from boys younger even than 18. Audie Murphy enlisted when he was 16. Mm-hmm. So the boys have carried the load of protecting and defending this country's freedom from its beginning. I'm sure the men were there also, but I'm just saying, let's not forget that if you're able to drive a tank and shoot a gun in the Army at 18 or younger, that does open up an interesting debate, is the point. So if you're too young to have a gun as a civilian, then you should be too young to go into the military, or not. I'm just saying that's an interesting question, but it just popped up in my mind as I was watching some heated debate on this subject. And then when I looked at those pictures that we were just looking at, half the faces are boys.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you're asking them to go and do that. Even worse, you're asking them to kill. Mm-hmm. But somehow that's different in some way. I'm not sure why it's different. My point is that if you're ready to go to war, you're certainly ready and responsible enough to own a firearm responsibly. And the rare exceptions of mentally ill people that commit these crimes.
How can that be checked?
Well,
Because I don't think anyone that has a record of that should be able to buy a firearm.
Right, so it's a slippery slope. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the rights of people that are mentally ill, and I know a lot about this because even Carrie, now she was outspoken and chose to be public about her mental illness.
Yes.
And I'll tell a story that'll bring this home to you. Carrie had a break-in. I think I've told this story before, but I'll briefly touch on it. Carrie was always sort of anti-guns. And I was living with Carrie at the time, and I told the story last show that we were living together after we had both divorced. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, the alarm goes off, and she calls me on the phone after it ringing. And she says, "Is that you?" And I'm like, "No." "Is that you?" "No, it's not." "All right, well, I'll check it out." So I take my handgun and I go upstairs, and I was being kind of casual. I'm in my underwear. And I walk through the living room, and I go into the kitchen, and the back door has been broken open. The frame is fractured and the door is open. And of course I got the chills, and I backed up against the refrigerator, and there was like this dramatic moment where I locked and loaded this .45 automatic, which makes a very distinct sound, almost like a shotgun loading. And the person in the house, or persons, heard it and bolted and ran out of the house. And it was startling that there were people in the house. Now, I didn't know how many people in the house, and I didn't choose to chase them. My instinct was go back and make sure Carrie's okay, because she's way on the other end of the house, probably 100 feet away. So I ran down to the other end of the house. I went into her room. We locked her door, and I put her behind the bed, and I just had my gun right on the top of the bed facing the door, and we waited. It took 15 minutes for the police to arrive. Now, I'm telling you that story because it was on us to protect ourselves. Now, fortunately, the people got scared and left, because obviously it would have been something that I would prefer not to have gotten into, but I would have if I had to. But Carrie was frightened as well, and she said, "Well, maybe I should get a gun." And I was like, "No, actually, you shouldn't."
Yes.
You know, and she's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, because there are times when your judgment is impaired in your world. You live in a different world. I don't think it's a good idea. You know, the people that should handle firearms should be trained and proficient and know the rules, understand what we're dealing with here. This is no joke. You know, these are life-altering things happen in a flash, literally." And so I think we've been desensitized by Hollywood and by video games.
Yeah.
The video games are a horror.
I really think that bringing those into our world was the worst thing for our youth. And, you know, and I do think that people get desensitized.
Totally.
And I think that people become these sharpshooters the way that they are because they're really doing this in a video game that seems incredibly real. I've never liked those for our kids.
I don't play them either, as you know.
No, you do. Whenever I see an adult playing a game on their phone.
You wonder what it is?
No, I don't. I know that they are playing on that game because most people, because you'll see people dressed up in a suit coming home from work. I would see them on the subway in New York or on the bus, or, you know, and they're playing on their phone, and I'd think they're calming themselves down because you know, a lot of people have ADD of some form and different varying levels, and their mind is only at peace and relaxing when they're hyper-focused on something because it's so rare.
Well, I do think
and so I think games do, but I don't think that they're shooting people up. I think they're playing Wordle or some other thing.
Games.
Yes.
As you know, I play strategy games all the time. The
yes.
game that I play
and
strategy.
when you're playing those, I do not disturb you. I want you to enjoy your peace because it's kind of like how I feel when I'm on a stage and I'm managing 25 people in trance. And so my ADD goes, woo, just leaves because I'm in hyper focus on so much. And so it's the same thing with the game.
I don't want to make this too much about this subject because this is about Memorial Day and the veterans.
Right.
But let's face it, like a huge number of the veterans that we're looking at are 18 years old. So I just think it's an interesting issue that should be kept in mind right now because we would not have been able to fight a lot of these wars had we not had access to these 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you what's right or wrong about it, but I could tell you without a doubt that the video games are responsible for some of this this mindset and some of the damage that's been done. The way, not this shooting, but possibly, I don't know much about this one, but the one before, it was carried out exactly like a Call of Duty video game or something like that. So anyway, not a good thing. But anyway, back to the Veterans Day for a minute. So Memorial Day, I should say. Obviously, think about it. Thousands and thousands of 18-year-old, 19-year-olds, were killed in all of our wars. But World War II in particular was a huge loss of American life. I'm not even going to go back to the Civil War, but that was a little different scenario. But looking at the Korean War, my mom was a lot of the boys, she told stories about how young they all were and how they would tell her they want to come home. And I mean, it was just heartbreaking stuff. And here you are in a whole nother world so far, far away. Yet a lot of them, stayed and did the job until they were called to come home. It's an honorable thing to do.
So when your mom would go over and do these, I did a USO once, and it was awesome. But I didn't go overseas. We went and entertained at the
At base.
At base, yeah. And so it was really an interesting thing, and other entertainers were there. And
Well, I mean, that's also nothing not valid about that. That's all fine and dandy. The difference, of course, is the technology existed later when you were doing what you were doing to actually run video for these people. That technology did not exist. So
Right.
let's understand the difference between now or even the 70s and 80s. Videotape technology allowed transmission or playing back of entertainment for them, but really was I was very meaningful. I could tell you that throughout my life, thousands, literally, of men have walked up to me and expressed their gratitude that she came over there.
right.
I mean, would a video have sufficed had we had the technology? Sure, but it says something when you show up in these remote locations and you say, I'm doing my part. It says something. And that is also how my mother got this. This is the Jean Hersholt Honorary Academy Award, and part of this was her humanitarian work. And when you watch when she got this award, it was given to her partly because of her humanitarian efforts in the war and beyond. I mean, she did a lot of charity work, but it wasn't just about, I went to Korea for a couple of things. She continued to support every military cause that was put in front of her, like Bob Hope was a champion of the military entertainment. Obviously, she didn't do nearly as much as Bob Hope, but anytime someone called on her for these causes, including Bob Hope, she went. And that's my story.
Ferruccio is here tonight.
Well,
and
Ferruccio,
yes.
you see this dress right here, Ferruccio?
He's asking if you will sell him that dress.
Do you see that dress, Ferruccio? I'm not even going to tell you what that dress is. I mean, we know it's a Debbie dress, and
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with Korea. In fact, what had occurred here was
That
I was
dress
prepared
is gorgeous.
to do a show about that dress.
Were you?
That's right. I have everything here, and I can tease it for next week. But I brought everything out here to do a show on that dress.
And what is that dress from?
Okay. So that dress...
It's so beautiful in person. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice.
I'd have to
It is
move. I don't have control
beautiful.
of the camera back here. That is my mother's first stage costume in Las Vegas, ever. Her
You're
first stage.
kidding.
This
Oh
is the
my
Riviera
gosh, it's-
Hotel. That's her
Aw.
very first costume that she wore on stage at the Riviera. Early 60s is what we're guessing. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to get into it right now, but what I'll show you next week is we're going to be able to see two things. We have all the pictures from that show that were taken by Life magazine, including the real famous one of Carrie and her in the wings. You remember Carrie standing in the wings?
Oh, yeah.
I'll switch to that.
I love that picture. You know what? We have one auction item. Shall we say what it is before we get
There's
into
the
this to
shot
give
of
people
the one
talk?
of Carrie in the wings, you remember?
Oh, I love that picture
But I'll
so
go.
much.
We'll do this more in detail. I was just going to say, but in this, there's the outfit. In fact, if you look right there of Carrie, and look at my mom right here. You see this?
I'm looking at-
my mother is wearing that costume
Let's see.
right there.
Oh, yes.
Now,
Oh, that's
I probably have
I love that series of pictures.
Well, this was actually given to her by the photographer from Life magazine. There's the guy's name, Daniel Zillion or something to that effect. But in this little array of photographs here is that costume, and he was obviously in, watching us. There we go. There's a better one there. That's a little better. So that's the costume she's wearing. And the other thing that was kind of unique about this this time, because it was her first Vegas act, she didn't really know. She knew she wanted to do a great job, but she didn't really know how to pull it off on her
John
own.
Eric St. James is asking who designed it. Do you know?
I have no idea. But it was probably Bob Mackey, because that's who she would have likely gone to.
And
I haven't looked at
it
the
has
labels.
incredible beading on it, as well as sequins. But most of what you're seeing are crystals.
Well, I don't want to. Do we really want to go too far?
No, we
We're going
don't.
to tease it. Now,
That's
let me
right.
show you real quick something that I will also be able to show you in more detail. You asked, how did she do the show? And the answer is, and I don't have to show the whole thing, but there is how she did the show. On the left, right here, is a contract between Debbie Reynolds and Bob Sidney. This one right here. And Bob Sidney was the famous director and choreographer. And in this contract, it's really kind of fun, because it says that it produced and directed by Robert Sidney. So that's pretty, he got major screen credit for doing this, right?
Yes.
Now, check this out. Look up on your, I'll zoom in on this.
Okay.
View, and we'll get more into this next week, but looking at this, look what it says right here. World premiere, Debbie Reynolds Riviera, directed by Robert Sidney, and right here in the contract, it says that is what it will say, produced and directed by Robert Sidney. And this is in detail, the whole contract between him and my mom, and what he was going
Look at you can see the street.
Oh yeah, you want to look at the strip?
Yeah, the strip. Oh, it's so, I really miss all those old hotels, all the great hotels. But
Well, look how low key all this was.
I know. But what is great is that we have the neon graveyard here, which is, if you ever come to Vegas, you need to go see it, because they have every single one of these old hotels lights, like the what do they call it, the marquees and the famous landmarks from them, and you can go in the evening and see them all lit up. Every old hotel, it is so magnificent. So
see?
much to do here. Yes.
Is it?
Okay. It is
look.
understood and agreed.
No. Just look at the contract.
Yeah, I see it. It's
see
on
it?
parchment.
Yeah, but it's a copy, right? It's like the signed duplicate. That's
Yes.
signed by her and Robert Sidney.
Right.
But this is an original signature on here, and gives him his per diem, his travel arrangements, what he's going to do, how much he was going to get for doing it, et cetera, et cetera. He got $15,000.
That's a lot of
Big money.
back then.
Yeah.
It's a good amount
November
now.
of '62. That's not bad cash. But that shows you how big of of talent he was.
That's what Robert Sidney got?
That's just what he got.
Oh, wow.
This is between Debbie Reynolds and the Schur Agency and Bob Sidney. Anyway, it's a fascinating study. But I will get more into it, and we'll show you a scan of that, and you'll be able to see it. And then we'll even show you the dress a little more close up. But that was a tease. You go ahead. You're
Okay,
on.
so we have one auction item today that I love. This ashtray was Debbie's, and this was at the Greenway House.
In the living room.
It's heavy in the living room, so God knows who smoked their cigarettes and put their ashes in here, but I'm guessing all of Hollywood back in what was this, the 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Early 60s.
you just never see ashtrays like this anymore. So at first I was like, oh, I don't want to give it up, but it's you can't keep everything. And so this ashtray is from 813 Greenway, and her matches here, and it says Debbie on them. And I don't know how good a picture that you're getting of this, but it is just beautiful, and it when I bought Hedda Hopper's little ashtrays at an auction once, she had these ashtrays that went in the hand at parties, and it had it's a little silver, and it was a hand ashtray. Have you ever heard of such a thing? And they would put their cigarettes, and there was a place to put the cigarette right there, and then they would do the ashes in it, and I thought it was so cool. And so at an auction, I bought Hedda Hopper's little ashtrays because of who may have held it in their hand. So I feel the same way about this ashtray.
Look at that. Look at the notches in that, and tell me what
I know.
you see. Cigars and cigarettes.
Oh, I never looked at that.
So
Let's
that would
see.
be Edward G's cigar.
Yes, there's a cigar right there. A cigar. Oh, this is so great. And I just love the matches with it too. So that is the only auction item we have today because I just felt like this was really special. So you can go ahead and start bidding on that if you want to. At $5, as we always do, and go up.
Let me
from
elaborate
there.
just slightly.
Would you like to hold it?
I could hold it.
Yeah, it's heavy, very.
So in the Greenway House was for its day was pretty classy.
Yeah.
And each room there was a coffee table or coffee tables, and they would have things on them that were appropriate. And this is the smoking era. So every single table in every single room for any time entertaining, from the living room to the music room to the den, etc., would have ashtrays. And this came from the den. And the den happened to be the only warm room in the whole house. Carrie and I used to hang out in the den because it was the only room that wasn't like this vast space, cavernous space.
Yeah. How many square feet was that house?
18,000.
I've never been in a house that big.
Well, it's like several houses.
Yeah.
But part of that is it did have a big downstairs. Now, this ashtray, as it was in that area, so this was a popular hang. So, like you pointed out, a lot of important people. And I'm going to include, with this ashtray, some pictures we have, snapshots of the Greenway House that have never been published that just show stuff like this. And I haven't looked, but I'm sure we'll find this or something very similar to it.
Yeah.
The photographs of these tables. So you'll have some, not only a provenance letter from me that this came from the Greenway House, but you'll also have some pictures of the Greenway House that have only been seen by me and my mom, probably. They were not published.
Yes.
Although there are plenty of pictures, you could do your own research, I'm sure, and find Hollywood parties that were photographed.
It's amazing to me because every auction I've ever been to had an ashtray of some sort that belonged to the person in their home, and they were all really, important pieces.
Well, you're not going to have.
But people must have smoked a lot back then.
Well, it was, look, people had the Cartier gold lighters, and we had crystal, like that's a type of crystal. We had expensive things that revolved around smoking. It was not culturally taboo. It was actually very much part of class. Like to have a drink in your hand and a cigarette in the other was Dean Martin. I mean, it was cool. It was the king of cool.
Yes.
To have these things. So in a house to have good smoking apparatus, and we had a lot of good smoking apparatus. We had lighters on the tables. The book of matches would be on the tables if you didn't have actual lighters. But we had them all going. And so, I think I have, 6 different ones. That happens to be from the den. It's pretty rare and it's pretty cool. But it was very much a part of our culture, and it didn't have a bad stigma on it, Now it's just almost like a piece of history. But ironically, what was happening the other day, right? You had a guest over.
Yeah.
And we used the ashtray because the guy didn't know what to do with his cigarettes. We were outside.
That's right.
So I went and got that and used, this was Carrie's lawyer. Fred Bimler was there.
That's right. And I remember seeing it and thinking, oh gosh, I hope that doesn't fall off the table.
But I hope he understood that he was tapping his ash into some history, a bit of history.
Yes. Well, how would he know? I don't know if we told him. Hey, Art Dance, how much for the picture behind you? What picture is that? What picture is he talking of?
The one of you, the poster, you mean?
Well, Art Dance, I grew up with. We were friends since I was about 13. And so it's so great to see you here, Art. It's just awesome to see you here. There are so
Make
many
him
people.
define what picture he's talking about.
Yeah, Art, are you talking about
poster?
the poster back here? The jungle poster, this one right here? Look at Letty put up here for us. For those of you who are asking, Seth Robichaux did go home. He's back home watching with the rest of us right now. I think he had
You
a
talking
great
about
time.
this picture?
That might be the one. Art. They're on eBay because I think that's where we got it. I didn't even
No, I
have
actually
one.
got that from the photographer. You remember
You did?
or did I buy that?
No, you bought that on eBay.
I bought it.
Yes.
There you have
So,
it.
but I buy lots of things on eBay of pictures and things because I didn't save things. So as I started writing
You haven't looked
this
through
book,
those boxes. That's why I brought them back from the ranch. There's a bunch of cool stuff in those boxes. A lot of
my
your-
boxes?
Yes.
Well, it's been 12 years since I've peeked in one, maybe 13, 14,
When you
15
packed
years.
up from New York,
Yeah.
this is those boxes. They haven't been looked at.
Well, I will get to them.
I think there could be a good auction item in there.
I know. You never know. That is true. Hey, Gillian Gray. She managed to quit smoking for 7 years, and now she's back at it and keeps saying one day, I'll quit again. You know what, Gillian? There's a lot of people out there that smoke, and I'm a former smoker, and so I really understand the whole mindset of a smoker. That's why when I help people to stop smoking now, I don't use the word quit because we're not quitters by nature, but we call it being smoke-free, and it's like a relationship, Gillian, and I think I saw someone else say they were going out to have a cigarette, but it is very much like a relationship, and the relationship, when it goes bad, that's when you want to change it. There's a day when you find that you take a puff and it just doesn't feel good to you or taste good to you anymore, and that's the day that is the best day of your life because you're close to being ready. And so if you smoke, and you enjoy it, then enjoy your cigarettes. And if you smoke and you're getting tired of it, then congratulations, because you're getting to the place where you're going to be able to give it up. It is a wonderful day when you can give those cigarettes up. At least it was for me. So I love helping people do that. But you can do it yourself because in the end, you do it yourself anyway. But I love helping and guiding people to that.
And we grew up in the generation where everybody smoked. Everybody smoked.
Yes.
Everybody.
Including me. And the smokers...
not me,
No,
but-
you lucky thing, because the smoker's profile is that they usually start smoking at around 13, 12 even, 13, 14. And then it's when they hit their 40s, they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Then you either quit or you don't, and then you hit your 50s and you realize how bad you feel.
Here was my mother. She had to learn to smoke for a movie she was doing, Mary Mary.
So she would smoke Virginia Slims.
So she would go like, well, this is before that.
Yeah.
So she would she did like no inhaling. Even to the end with the Virginia Slim, she never watched her. She just has it in her mouth.
I know.
And actually, obviously, it's better for you if you're going to do that. But that was her thing, just to puff it almost like a cigar. You don't inhale cigars, you puff.
Yeah.
But
I would find her little Virginia Slim packs in her room, and I'd go,
still have 'em.
What is this? And she'd say, oh, dear, I just sometimes sit and pretend like I'm smoking. And when I have a glass of wine, I thought that was as cute as
No,
could
again,
be.
it was a cultural thing.
Yeah.
In the day when we had these parties, everybody would have a cigarette, and the house would reek of tobacco, of course, cigars. No one gave it, it's like whatever. I mean, today you fire up a cigar in somebody's house, they probably wrestle you to the floor, or especially, imagine a house with 100 people smoking in it.
Oh,
how
my gosh,
nasty
no.
that is.
Oh, no.
The
You'd
truth
never
is,
get it out.
The reason why I didn't smoke is I think I was just disgusted by the smell and the taste. I never liked it. It just always turned me off. I'm just lucky, I guess, that it didn't excite me. I never really understood the buzz that people get off of it either. So I was fortunate. Carrie, of course, loved to smoke, and I used to get on her case about it, because by the time we were smoking, you knew better. When I was growing up, there were actually people saying a cigarette a day keeps the doctor away. I mean, that was a for real mantra.
Really? In my world, it was an apple, but okay.
No. The tobacco companies paid doctors to say it was okay.
Right.
And there was no actual evidence. It was just all supposition, rumor that there was absolutely nothing this was doing that was harmful to you. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of the absurdity of the climate change argument. There's no question that the human beings are having an influence on the earth. To say that it doesn't exist is insane. To ruin the economy to clean it up is also insane. So a happy medium towards keeping the planet alive is a good thing. But I think sometimes people go crazy on either sides of these arguments. I've been an environmentalist since the word was invented.
Yeah.
I was putting in solar panels in the 80s and recycling back in the day before no one was. I just have to explain what we were doing.
Yeah, no, you've been an environmentalist for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and I was on everybody's case and continue to be. So to deny that human beings are having a negative impact on the earth would be outrageously stupid, because there's beyond evidence everywhere and all around you. So what do we do about that? Do we close down the world, or do we very aggressively and responsibly move forward towards a cleaner, more viable, renewable programs for the earth? Do we end fossil fuels? What a joke. I mean, it's horrifying to me when I watch what's going on right now, because the lunacy is off the charts. It's very simple. Half the oil that gets used on this earth has nothing to do with cars and airplanes. It's manufacturing. Show me something that you have that was not made with petroleum on some level or another. We are immersed into a petroleum carbon-based economy. So if you want to gradually get out of, let's just say, the transportation side of it, then do so in a responsible manner. If you want to get out of the energy production area, then do so in a responsible manner. We have new nuclear energy things and other methods of generating power. So I don't know how I got off on this tangent. It had to do with smoking. But the same lie was told to people about cigarettes when we were growing up, that you could smoke these cigarettes and it was perfectly fine. So there's people like that today that are saying that about the environment, that there's no evidence that human beings are having, an impact. Well, don't be absurd. Just take a little trip in the ocean and see all the crap floating up on the beach or out in the. I mean, it's like, I understand you could argue about certain finite parts about why is the polar ice caps melting, but let's ignore that and just look at the trash that we generate and look at the amount of fuel that we burn irresponsibly. I have friends, that take trips cross country in jets, using more fuel than 10 families will ever use in a lifetime on one trip.
Yeah, no, that's the worst. Absolutely.
I mean, it's big. Anyway, I'm off of that. You're on.
Okay, so I'm on?
I'm not sure what that has to do with Memorial Day.
No, but we love to just spider off. We're going to start giving away prizes in a minute, but I just wanted to say, Lane Semper, it's good to see you here. It's been a while. She said I profiled her perfectly, started smoking at 13, quit at 50. And that is, pretty much the profile of almost every smoker. I mean, started in the teens. By the time you hit your 50s, you're just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I see Frank said it caught up with him with COPD. So, yeah, it will. The only thing we do know about smoking is that it will most definitely kill us. And so I really would love to one day do a show on this, and anybody that's a smoker or anybody that that's a smoker that has it in their mind that they're ready to stop doing that, then I would love to help, because it really is a big deal. And we want you here. Also, Lisa Eaton is here, and I haven't seen Lisa in such a long time, so it's great seeing you in the room again, Lisa. We really love having you here. Also, Ferruccio, I hope you're feeling better, because now he needs heart surgery. And so it's like, come on, Frank, we need to get you here. Who do we have to talk to about all this?
I have so much work for him to do. It's not even funny.
I know. And so, everybody, let's really hold Frank in our thoughts, because he's going to have surgery, I think, next month of some sort. And I'm going to talk to you to find out exactly what that is. But I just really, you're on our minds, our hearts. Bill Biss' husband has COPD. Yes, it's rough. I know a lot of people that have that, actually.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So that's
Living,
good.
living in a smoggy, polluted environment can do it without smoking as well. Like when we grew up in Los Angeles.
Oh,
as
I
children,
remember
it
when
was-
I moved there was a green cloud over Los Angeles.
LA was the nastiest, and so your health was in it. It was like smoking a pack a day to living in the city.
Was it?
No, I mean for real. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not just making a joke. It was that bad. Just being in LA, living in. This is why we've made good progress. You know, we were talking earlier just a minute ago about the environment and everything. I mean, growing up in elementary school, I used to look out the window and it's just a sea of brown. And it was partly due to the dirty automobiles. We didn't have good emission systems. There were a lot of dirty power plants in California burning coal and oil-based products. There's a lot of manufacturing that had no regulation on spewing out environmental exhausts into the basin, and it has nowhere to go in LA. So you live in this basin, and all this bad air just sits there. It's pretty remarkably cleaned up. It's incredible. So we, in 40 years, you know, have made huge progress in many, many ways, and we should keep it up. But let's not sacrifice the economy and the country over the deal.
Right. So I have, hey, Brenda McFamily. She's out of town, so she's watching us from afar. And it's so great to see everybody. This is just so awesome. So we're going to give things away, and I just wanted to say, as Ryan is here with us, by the way, because he's working the randomizer, and he's watching. I think he's at his mom's house. Say hi to Jeff, to your mom and your dad for me. I shouldn't call them by their first name. That's rude. So I'll just say
Why?
hi to his mom and dad because I love them and because they deserve the respect of being called Mr. and Mrs. So there you go. We're going to give things away. As far as I know, Ryan, you can keep an eye out on for me because it's just Todd and I in here today. It looks like the ashtray is up to $275. And I just want to make sure I'm right about that. I just want to catch people up in case anybody wants to jump in and make a bid. $275 was the last one I saw. So Ryan, if you see something different, go ahead and text me.
Can I see that for 1 second, the ashtray?
The ashtray, yes.
Yeah, I just want to see one thing. I remember
There you go.
this one while you're talking.
Okay.
So-
All righty. I'm so mellow today. It's scary. I'm scaring myself. I'm super relaxed and mellow today. So I'm just in such a great mood, such a great mood. All right, so let's see here. Ryan, yes, $275. That's what it's up to. Okay, so Ryan hit the randomizer because I am ready. All right, here we go. I'm going to flip over to my messages so Ryan can speak to me. All right, wiener number 1 on the randomizer is J.D. Montgomery. J.D. Montgomery, you are the first wiener of the day. Here you go. Let me get my little box of goodies out. And J.D., I am going to give you an entire set of Cat Danas. Yep, if you don't have one of these, oh my gosh, this is so great for summer because you can soak it in witch hazel and slip it around your neck. It's like an air conditioner. You can tie your hair back with it. You can wear it as a scarf. It's awesome. Put it around your wrist if you go into a cold restaurant this summer. Just slip it over your neck. You got one, JD, in red, and that's a red paisley. Pure black. You also got one in tie-dye. You got one in yellow paisley, and you got one in navy blue paisley. So there you go, J.D. Montgomery. You are the wiener of a perfect set of Cat Danas. So congratulations to you. And let me go to see who number 2 is. Bill Biss. Bill Biss. See, you run out for a cigarette. When you come back, you won something. You are a wiener, Bill. Let me see what you have won. Bill. The Rooster Booster. I love it. You have won a jar of Rooster Booster. This is going to be actually listed on the website. We are finally ready to launch for the men's. The Rooster Booster cream. It is absolutely amazing. Will make you look so good. This is the best moisturizer in the world. And you can see it has a little rooster on the back there. So Bill Biss, you are a wiener. Everybody, if you have won, please write me at info@catcosmetics.com. Claim your prize and make sure I have your address so we can get that out to you. I'm going to look for number 3, Sandra Rock. Sandra Rock. That's a new name. I don't think Sandra has ever been a wiener before, but Sandra, you are one now. And you have won, Sandra Rock, one of Todd's books, My Girls. You have won a copy of Todd's book, My Girls, and he will sign it to you or whoever you would like him to sign it to. So please write me at info@catcosmetics.com and let me know who you would like to sign to. Todd will sign it, and we will get that out to you, so make sure that you give us an address. Sandra Rock. You rock. Here you go. And all of the gifts today
That's
are
perfect, by the way, because
from us.
she's a new viewer, maybe hasn't read that book.
You know what? I'm thinking that if Sandra, if you already have the book, please let me know when you write me. Number 4, Kimberly Fullerton. Number 4, Kimberly Fullerton. Kimberly, you have won something that I use every day. This is a brush. It is a particular eye brush.
Don't take it out. It's fine.
No, but I want to be able to show it. It's great.
Put it over here. Down
It's
on
an
one.
amazing brush. I'm see if I can
Up,
see.
Up, yep.
Yeah, but it's hard to see. Let me see if it's behind. Can you see, Kimberly? It has a little tiny head on it, and it's very tiny. And there's a reason for that. It is for precise eye makeup. It is not my brush. It is a Morph brush, but I don't make an eye brush like this. I have several, so I took one out of my personal collection, a new one, and so that's what you're getting, Kimberly Fullerton, and I will show you how to use it, okay? So there you go. Kimberly Fullerton, you are a wiener, and we have, oh my gosh, Lisa Eaton, you are number 5. Number 5, Lisa. I'm so glad that you won. That is awesome. You just came back and you're a wiener already. So here we go. Lisa, I'm going to need you to write me at info@catcosmetics.com to give me your address of where I can send this. You have won a jar of Elastin collagen cream, and I will get that out to you. I will make sure that these go out to you this week, all of you. So you are a wiener, Lisa Eaton. Congratulations. All these gifts, the prizes are from Cat Cosmetics.
Get ready to close the
Yes,
auction.
the auction is going to close. And
How many more
we
items?
We are going to close the auction. We're doing 6 and 7, and then we will close the auction. So what is the auction up to, Ryan? Is it holding at $275? I just want to update people. So I'll wait to hear from you on that. That's the last thing I heard. So here we go. So the next wiener is Catherine Maxey. Catherine Maxey. And it is still at $275 for the ashtray. So if you'd like to put a bid on that, we're going to end this in about 2 minutes. So I will give you a 1-minute warning. Catherine Maxey. Catherine Maxey, you have won. Yes, you have. You have won. Where is it? Oh, here it is. You have won a makeup bag that we have here called, well, it's, what did you say this was? It's like a thick linen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's engraved, which I love. It says, "All drama must remain on the stage." And the reason that I put that on there is because at One Life to Live, we had a big sign above the studio door going in that said, "All drama must remain on the stage." So we love that, and I loved it so much. So this is a zipper pouch. It's nice and thick, this linen, and and you have also won this brown eye pencil. It's called Quest. It is absolutely beautiful. It's a gel eye pencil, and that will go inside. Since I don't know if you are aware of Cat Cosmetics, so this is your first time, I think, maybe, because I'm not sure I recognize the name. So Catherine Maxey, oh, my mic went out, you said.
No,
The
it's on.
battery died.
1. Yes, you're right.
Uh-oh.
That's all right.
Okay,
Here,
so-
just take
I'll take the handheld.
No, I don't have it. Just give me, I got new batteries. Just give me
Okay,
the,
hold
I'll
on.
just do it real quick.
Alrighty. There we go. That's like. There you go. Thank you.
They can hear you through my mic.
Okay. So I'm just going to hold on. Ryan, when did my mic go out? Where was I? Okay, we are at 280 right now for the ashtray, and my sound is back. I don't know where I actually went out. So, Catherine Maxey, I'll just go ahead and tell you that you did win this bag. It says, "All drama must remain on the stage." It is a makeup bag. It has a beautiful zipper and a little hand strap, and will also come with the Quest pencil, and you are going to love it. This is a very beautiful deep brown gel eye pencil and the bag, and that is for you, Catherine Maxey from Cat Cosmetics. So here we go. Catherine, make sure you write me at info@catcosmetics.com. Give me your address. All right. Okay. Good deal. I got your message. Number 7 is...
And you're going to close the auction after this.
I'm closing the auction after this. So you're getting your 1-minute warning right now. And the bidding is at $280 in case you want to jump in there at the last second. And Joe Hughes, you are the winner of number 7. And I am giving you also a jar of Rooster Booster. You're going to love it, love it, love it, love it, Joe. And if you, for some reason...
Say what it is, though.
Well, it is the best moisturizer in the world. It has got a lasting...
Moisturizing cream for guys, right?
It says
cream.
dude cream is
I
what
know,
it's...
but you didn't explain it the last time. So.
Okay, so the Rooster Booster, and you can tell because it has the little man on the back, and it's awesome, Joe Hughes. So make sure I have your address, and I will get that out to you. We have one winner left, but we are now closing the auction right now, and it's up to $350, and so we are closing it out at $350, and I don't know who that is yet, but we will find out after I give away this last thing. Number 8, Vicki Giddens. Vicki Giddens, you are the winner of number 8. So, Vicki, you get a $25 gift certificate to catcosmetics.com. And we are having a sale right now, 30% off of everything on the site, including the Get Your Fire Back Pennsylvania, which is happening on June 11th. And for more information on that, you can go to getyourfireback.com or Cat Cosmetics. It is the sale will be good on the websites, and this is an amazing sale. Memorial Day, so jump on it. And so congratulations to you, Vicki Giddens. You are the winner of the $25 gift certificate. So who won the ashtray? Frank Ferruccio. I just got it. Thanks, Ryan. Frank, congratulations. Can I just tell you, this is one of my favorite pieces. It really is. It is one of my favorite pieces. So I think that you are going to really love this. And sadly, I think Frank still might smoke. I'm not sure. I'm going to get you, Frank, when I come back there. I'm going to get you. And I'll be back there in just a few weeks. I'm really excited, really excited. So, for us to go out, is there anything more you wanted to say, honey, before we say goodbye to our friends and family?
Well, I would just say to all of you and your family members and people you know or have loved and otherwise that have served and been in our armed forces in this country in some fashion, that, you know, we really appreciate and should all of you extend that appreciation to everybody you know. That's what this day is really all about, is memorializing those that have given their lives for our country, and the freedoms that we so famously take for granted were paid for at great cost. And my grandmother's brother was killed in World War II. There's only a member of our family that was in our world that was killed in a war, but so many have given children and loved ones, and so it's a truly honorable thing for those of us that do believe in our country and how great it is, and for which it's the things for which it stands, that the price that was paid was worth it. We are a shining beacon to the world, and have to fight every day to maintain that because of the bullshit that comes from outside to the in. All of the stuff from political nonsense that's intended to plant seeds of divisiveness in our hearts so that we have hostility towards one another. We have got to stop listening to the bullshit and just be Americans and stand for the things that we are so famous for. This country is famous for its charity and for its love and for its understanding and its attitude towards freedom. And so that's my speech on this Memorial Day, and I have great gratitude for so many that laid down their lives to ensure our ability to have the things that we all so famously take for granted.
No, that is so true, because freedom isn't free, and we all know that. And thank you. That was really good. I have goosebumps on my goosebumps right now. I really do. I'm so glad that we got to spend. I like doing our show on Saturday night, but I like doing it on Sunday too. Because last night we were both just fried up. And so I'm glad that we got to do this today and spend it with you.
Well, it is a holiday too, which is kind of cool. So you can actually talk about the day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely, and what it's all about, that's for sure. So congratulations, Frank, on winning the ashtray. And also, I just wanted to say that as we let you all say goodbye to each other, Todd has the trailer for the Get Your Fire Back in Pennsylvania, and he's going to play that right now. So if you live anywhere near Pennsylvania, and in Delaware, Washington, Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York, anywhere, it is going to be so worth the trip. It's going to be such an intimate, fantastic event. So we'll go ahead and play the trailer for you. And I thank you, everybody, for coming to spend your Sunday with us. It means more than you will ever know. And I am really excited. You know why?
Why?
Because it's just you and me here right now.
Oh.
I think Letty's going to be going soon, and I'm
Might be
sad
time
about
for some
that because I
coal-fired
love my
pizza.
Letty. Huh?
Might be time for some coal-fired pizza.
We have it.
I know.
We have it. I was thinking about actually cooking this afternoon, so I think that'll be
No,
fun.
well,
Yes, I'd
I
love
have to
to.
catch up on the war movies.
That's one thing about these great holidays that revolve around, the veterans of any kind, because Todd gets to watch his war movies all weekend, and I have learned to, because he likes to watch them loud, like most men like the loud TV, so I put in my little earplugs, and it's perfect because I can hear it like it's normal, not exploding around me, because he likes his surround sound. So when a bomb goes off, you jump out of that bed, let me tell you. So we're going to go ahead and play the trailer for Get Your Fire Back Pennsylvania. And thank you, everybody, so much. I will see you this week. I'm probably going to jump on tomorrow and do some tutorials. And thank you. We love you. Thank you so much for spending your day with us. Hi, I'm Catherine Hicklin, and I'm going to be telling you about a very special event that I have coming up in Pennsylvania on June 11th. It's my Get Your Fire Back seminar. I've only been conducting this seminar in Las Vegas for the last 8 years, and this will be my very first time of actually taking it to a new city. And why am I doing that? Well, a lot of people can't travel like they used to, and so I thought, why not take it to you? I've picked Pennsylvania because I found a really great theater for this. And the other thing is that it's kind of central. So if you're in New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Baltimore, Philadelphia, or anywhere in that northeast area, you could actually attend this by just driving for a few hours. And you can change your life. This is going to be super fun. It's going to be 1 day instead of 2, and it's also open to men, not just women. If you want to learn how to communicate, if you want to learn how to let go of things you haven't been able to let go of in years, if you want to learn how to look 10 years younger in less than 5 minutes, or if you just want to up your game in any way possible, this is the seminar for you. If you live in any of these surrounding areas, I'm telling you, it is worth the drive. So in a few seconds, I'm going to be showing you exactly what the seminar is about. So stay with me, and here we go. I'm currently preparing a new seminar that I'm convinced will change people's lives, because the value that you take away from this is completely unprecedented. I'm combining 40 years of experience as an entertainer, hypnotist, and an entrepreneur, and I'm putting it out there for anyone who wants to learn how to live an extraordinary life. What we're going to do is dig down deep into the core of who you are, what makes you tick, what it is that makes you get up excited in the morning, when you're so passionate about something that it wakes you up in the middle of the night. That's the kind of fire I'm talking about. I'm going to teach you how to communicate effectively, how to use power words to get anyone to say yes, how to achieve mental and physical peace and serenity, so that when it gets tough out there, you'll have what it takes to handle it easily and effortlessly. We're talking about eliminating fear and replacing it with absolute conviction that whatever it is that you want can become a reality. I'll teach you how to read people, eliminate emotional vampires from your life, and ultimately how to take charge of your life so that the world doesn't intimidate you anymore, but instead it becomes your playground.
Catherine Hickland fascinates me with her knowledge of people, relationships, life, love. And with that knowledge, she has an amazing and caring approach to helping others grow in a positive way to improve their own lives.
About 10 years ago, my mother passed away, and it was very traumatic, and I had trouble dealing with it. Then about 8 years ago, I got an email from Catherine Hickland and Cat Cosmetics about a seminar called Get Your Fire Back. I could go to Las Vegas, attend this seminar, and learn about how to feel better about myself. I mean, win-win, what's not to love?
You'll experience a day filled with learning life lessons, self-awareness, friendship, love, laughter, and I'll admit some tears.
The best thing about it is that Catherine has such a big, kind heart, and her talents with her mind amazements and, whatever comedy hypnosis shows that she does. She's just really talented and able to, kind of read into you and see things, with your help, of course.
Kat is such a bright light, especially during some pretty dark times, like of late with COVID and quarantine and me losing my husband. And she has provided such sunshine when we really needed it.
Kat really helped me with my confidence and being able to stick up and stand up for myself. Things that I have been able to bring into my life.
Kat was warm and welcoming, and the seminar for me was a real journey in self-development. It was also a lot of fun, and at the end of it, we all left with a spring in our step and a real zest for life.
She will help you find things that are holding you back, things that maybe you didn't even realize, or maybe you did.
A very common phrase these days I hear is live your best life. And I think there's no better way to achieve that than by attending Get Your Fire Back.
I got my fire back. I think it's time you got yours.
you.